All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Here I have China's leftover women distraught. 36-year-old with masters, own home and car, remains unmarried. And the reason why I wanted to watch this video is because I know that the mindset, I don't even have to watch the video. I know that the mindset that this girl has is going to be the exact mindset that's been affecting so many of our women today. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Girls, do you know what it's like to be 36, unmarried, and without a boyfriend? It's not the independent, clear-headed heroine you might imagine. In reality, I'm afraid of dating, afraid of relationships, and I can't even think about marriage. It's not because I'm not trying or that I'm not good enough. I have a master's degree, started a business, and bought a house.
And I'm already going to stop it right there. This is the thing that, boy, this boils my blood, right? Because she says, oh, it's not that I'm not capable. I have a master's, I started a business and bought a house. And I'm like, what man told you that that's what they were looking for? Which one? Because I certainly haven't done it. Many of you guys certainly haven't done it. Nobody's doing it. And so what that tells me off the rip is that they're living in a world that is centered around them. Because if a man said, I have a master's degree, started a business, and I have my own house, that's severely attractive to women. But to men, it's not. And so they're over here getting the things that they find attractive. They never stopped and said, what do you find attractive? How can I be somebody that's attractive to you? No, they come into things that they find attractive. And then they go to you and say, well, why don't you like it too?
But when it comes to marriage, I feel weak. I've gone on many blind dates, and just the thought of being judged for my age makes me not want to go out again. If I meet someone I like and we get along well, if I show any temper, they'll say, you're not young anymore. If you still don't understand things and need me to coax you, why am I with you? Because of my age, many things become intolerable.
And I think that is one of the worst things about dating an older woman, right? Because again, I'm not the type of guy that's like, oh, I'm 45, I'm okay with dating an 18-year-old. I would want somebody who at least has a little bit more experience in that. And so I think the worst part about that is if you date, say like she's 36, right? And you're still having to teach her basic communication skills, basic levels of femininity, basic levels of partnership. Not doing that, because that's something you should have learned when you were a teenager, when you were in your 20s. Right? But you want grace for that of somebody who's in their late 30s? Come on now. Absolutely not. And the thing about it is there'll be some guys out there that say, oh, come on, bro. Like you gotta train, you gotta be patient. And it's like, do they grant you that same patience? Did they grant you that patience? No. Let you come into this not being masculine enough, or not being tall enough, or not being good looking enough. Do they say, oh, well, we can work it out? No. They immediately reject and then go to the next.
So maybe love is something for the younger years, and if possible, it's best to enter marriage when you're young. The TikTok user Rice Kernel is a woman from Hangzhou. On June 15th, she posted a video expressing regret for not getting married in her 20s. Previously, she posted a video complaining that even with a master's degree, it wasn't until she was 28 that she realized that standing, older single men wouldn't be interested in her. Now, the ones pursuing her are single men from rural areas, and she feels she can only marry into the countryside. This comment resonated with many single women, both domestically and abroad.
And also notice that it's not that they don't have options. It's the fact that they believe because they have a master's, their own car, their own house, that they're better than a lot of the guys that want them. Isn't that crazy?
Media interviewed her, and it turns out her surname is Lee, and she's actually only 36. She responded saying, in 2 more years, I definitely won't be able to have kids. I've been on 5 blind dates, but none were suitable. As for why she lied about her age, many netizens believe she's using the topic of older single women to gain attention. Some think her actions may have been a marketing angle. I'm a single woman born in 1988 with a master's degree from a top university. Recently, I've begun to feel like I might be able to accept dating someone who's divorced and has a child. I used to think this was the last thing I'd compromise on, but now I've realized that loneliness is more terrifying than anything else. Lately, my world feels silent and empty, as if there's no sound at all, and it will always be this way. It feels like I'm afraid to make a sound because any noise would echo back and scare me. I don't know how long this loneliness will last. In early June, Rice Kernel posted a video revealing her true feelings. Although she appears strong and independent on the surface, deep down she harbors an inexplicable loneliness and feels melancholy about her fading youth. Most older single women have high education,
I was gonna say, yeah, a lot of older single women do that. Have you guys seen those type of videos where a woman will have like a glass of wine in her hand and she's like dancing and shaking, like, oh, I love being single. It's like we all can see through it. It's like we know that after you're done with that glass of wine, you're going to fall into a deep despair because of the loneliness that you have. But for some reason, they want to convince us and the world that they're happy being single. Like, who are you trying to fool?
income and high intelligence, and are attractive. However, their high standards in choosing a partner often leave them without an ideal match, turning them into what's called leftover women. Rice Kernel might be using the sensitive topic of leftover women to draw attention to this group, thereby increasing her exposure and influence. In this light, her actions can be seen as a brave stand and form of self-affirmation. I'm a bit sad now because I've suddenly realized that it's easy for older girls to have a car and a house, but finding love is really hard. Even though I don't want to accept it, I can't fight it. No matter how beautiful, educated, or nice you are, when you enter the dating market, you'll be held back by your age.
And again, they make it seem like, oh, I reached 32 or 34. I have zero options. No, you just realize you can't get the top 1% of guys that you want. Like, come on now.
I thought my hard work and effort would allow me to be with someone I love, but to my surprise, when I finally had a car and a house, as an older woman, I was just someone others would judge and weigh the pros and cons of. I felt like all my efforts in my younger years would have been better spent dating. I have a friend who dated a girlfriend 2 years older than him. He told me he was the picky one in the relationship, while she was very accommodating. Now he has a new girlfriend who is 5 or 6 years younger than him. When he showed me her picture, I was shocked. She smokes, drinks, and parties, which is very different from his previous standards. I asked him how he could accept this now. He said because she's younger, he's more tolerant of her. Hearing this, I cried. It made me feel so sad. In the video, the Douyin user named Tian Yao Yao is a gentle, understanding, and beautiful older woman. However, despite reaching the age of marriage and dating, she struggles to find a suitable partner. She observes that many men consider a woman's age as a crucial factor when choosing a partner. They tend to prefer younger women who are perceived as more fertile, while they hesitate or even become picky about women like her who are successful but older. I was born in 1991, so I'm 33 years old this year, a leftover woman. Not being married at this age makes me feel anxious. People always say that if you're still not married at this age, you must be too picky. If I had lowered my standards earlier, I would have been married by now. When I was
And again, this is I don't mean this is any type of disrespect. I don't really like to go after people's looks because, somebody finds everybody beautiful, right? But it's like, what standards can she have? Like, let's be honest. Like, what standards did she have that were so high that I couldn't even imagine. Let's not pretend that she's a Victoria's Secret model here, right? So I'm like, who fed you garbage to make you believe that you deserved way more than what you are?
27 or 28, I also wanted to get married and even had the impulse to have a quick marriage. But then I thought if I made the wrong choice, I would fall into an abyss with no way out. The internet
Like the one she's in now.
is filled with stories about women being abused, abandoned, or even pushed off cliffs. To be honest, I had a fear of marriage, similar to how men are afraid of gold diggers. But while gold diggers are after money, some men might be after your life. Despite this, I remain hopeful about life. I eat and drink well.
And that's the crazy part, right? Whenever they're talking about like the demonization of men, they always pick the extremes. Like, I'm not saying these things don't happen, but let's be honest. If we take the number versus the number of actual relationships, it's minuscule. It's not even something that you should be worried about. Like being struck
Where
by
I need to
lightning.
and travel. Want to. Over time, I got used to being alone, but now at 33, I never imagined I would reach this age without being married, and it feels quite hopeless. Sometimes I want to find someone, and sometimes I don't. People have started introducing me to divorced men with children or men in their 50s. This made me realize that men my age want young, beautiful girls and wouldn't consider me. So I'm left with either divorced men with children or much older men who aren't even successful. It makes me feel quite desperate. In China, there is indeed a belief that as women age, their value in the marriage market decreases, leading to anxiety about marriage among many women. This phenomenon is tied to traditional views and gender imbalances. Men often seek youth and beauty in a partner, while women look for economic stability and a partner who can guide them spiritually.
Right. And so when they come into the game saying, I have economic stability, how is it not connecting that that's not what we want? Because again, they come from a place of, well, what do I want in a partner? Well, let me go ahead and max that out. Instead of asking somebody, because all you have to do is have a conversation with a man, like, what are some things you look for in a woman? But no, they spent all, like, bro, think how much time that is. From the age of 16 all the way to your late 30s. And you're just now really, you're asking the question, like, what happened? Why can't I get this person? Well, men are fine. You just now find that out. It's funny how when it's an emergency situation, now all of a sudden we care about, we're trying to figure out what men want.
As times change, women's views on choosing a partner are also evolving. They are beginning to enter the dating market, hoping to find the right person. However, the dating process is not as smooth as they imagined. They thought their high education and good jobs would be advantages, but reality has given them a harsh lesson.
What?
Are you dating?
You're a bit old.
I was born in 1991. Is that old?
1991 is a bit old.
How old are you?
Born in 1997.
I don't mind that you're younger.
Your annual income is a bit low.
I have a company, and I didn't mention because I didn't want to pressure you. I have 2 houses, all earned from my own business.
You're 158 centimeters tall. That's a bit short.
This woman, who goes by the online name Athena, is from Anhui and went to the famous matchmaking park in Hangzhou to find a partner. Her poster read, "Sincerely looking for a partner, female, born in 1991, master's degree, height 158 centimeters, weight 45 kilograms, owns property in Shanghai and Hangzhou, works as an advertising company planner with an annual income of about 150,000 RMB."
And let's just go back. What about this screams wife? What about this screams good mother? What about this screams your characteristic feminine qualities? This is something that as a man would have on his sheet of paper for a woman. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. These are all the things, master's degree, height, weight. These are all the things that a woman wants to see on a man's paper. This isn't the paper that men want to see.
Works as an advertising company planner with an annual income of about 150,000 RMB. Athena also listed 4 criteria for her potential partner. Seeking a good person to build a life together. Requirements: 1. Bachelor's degree or above. 2. Owns property in Shanghai or Zhejiang. 3. Height above 175 centimeters. Willing to give a dowry of 50,000 RMB, non-negotiable.
And look, and exactly, let's go back and look at that. Exactly. This is exactly what her page looked like. All the things that she's looking for. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, no wonder.
Centimeters. Willing to give a dowry of 50,000 RMB, non-negotiable. She is often seen at the matchmaking corner of the park.
And then her non-negotiable is you have to pay her to be in your relationship. Oh my God.
However, her age frequently becomes an obstacle in the dating market. In the video, Athena said, "Everyone criticizes my age. Is it wrong for a woman to be older? Does being older mean I can't have any requirements? Everyone has the right to pursue love and be loved. Is it so hard to respect others' choices?" She also stated, "I'd rather die than settle. Don't keep advising me
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
to lower my standards. I'm a woman with a master's degree, 2 houses, and 2 cars. I have an annual salary of 300,000 RMB, and I can start a business any time now. I see a bright future ahead of me. Why should I settle for a partner who's inferior in every way, lowering my quality of life? If I can't find someone suitable, I won't get married. Is it unreasonable for me to look for someone who's 170 centimeters tall?
No, that's reasonable.
Is it unreasonable for me to look for someone with a bachelor's degree or higher from a similar university?
No, that's reasonable.
My annual salary is about 200 to 400,000 RMB. Is it unreasonable for me to look for someone with an annual salary of 300 to 4,000 RMB?
No, that's reasonable.
I was born in 1990. Is it unreasonable for me to look for someone born around 1990, plus or minus 3 years?
No, that's reasonable.
I have 300,000 RMB in savings. Is it unreasonable for me to ask for a dowry of 280,000 RMB?
No, that's reasonable.
If you meet these requirements, would you be willing to date someone like me?
I might consider it.
How could you?
I'd have to be out of my mind. Think about it. A man with an annual salary of 400,000 RMB, around 30 years old, who has a car and a house, and is willing to give a dowry of 280,000 RMB, and is handsome and over 170 centimeters tall. Wouldn't he look for an 18-year-old?
Yes, right. But it's also reasonable for him to look for someone like me.
If he can find an 18-year-old, why would he choose you?
But I'm more accomplished than an 18-year-old.
In what way are you more accomplished? You're older and have more wrinkles, right?
These Asian dudes are savages.
That's enough. I don't want to hear anymore.
Your standards for a man are higher than hers. In what way are you better? Explain.
And then that's another thing. Notice how he was agreeing with her the whole time, and she was like, oh my God, like, yes, feed me more, pander, pander, pander. And the moment he's like, well, here's the reality, she's like, oh, I'm out of here. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like to be in a relationship with her. If you don't tell her what she wants to hear, she's out. Who would want to be with somebody like that?
Explain it clearly.
Older single women often face various biases and discrimination in the dating scene. The requirement the girl in the video mentioned are not unreasonable, so why can't she find a partner? Perhaps it's because as women age, the risks associated with childbirth increase and men might hesitate to enter into marriage with them. Clearly, the man in the video prefers to look for young, attractive women in their 20s, and single older women are not high on his list. Here we are at the matchmaking corner of Hangzhou's Wansong Academy, where older women and their mothers are left in shock, even with offers of houses and cars. It's still difficult for them to find a match. Age has become the biggest hurdle, wouldn't you agree?
It's not difficult for them to find a match. Don't say that. It's difficult to find the men that they're looking for. See, that's what you need to say.
This reflects the current attitudes towards finding a partner in Chinese society. You might say it's unfair, but it's a reality. There are many unfair things in the world, and the only thing ordinary people can do is silently resist. For older single women, the only way to fight against this unfairness is to choose to remain single. While urban single women still have some choices, rural women have even less control over their destiny. Under societal pressure and the lack of education and other social resources, rural women have even less bargaining power compared to their urban counterparts. They may face inequality and even domestic violence after marriage. In recent years, more women have been delaying marriage and childbirth, voluntarily joining the ranks of the leftover women. With material security, they can enjoy a carefree single life. Hello everyone, I'm 39 years old. Many people call me an old lady, an old woman, saying I can't get married. Honestly, I'm used to being attacked sometimes. If people don't criticize me, they might not feel smart. What century are we in? They keep saying, you can't get married, you can't get married. Well, if I can't get married, I just won't get married, right? I really don't understand these people stuck in the closed mindset. If I can't get married, then I just won't get married. On platforms like
Perfect smash material. I don't know how else to put that. Like, it's like, what are you're listening to somebody talk to you like that? All they're saying is, yo, you could come over, we get drunk or whatever and smash, and then that's it. Come on.
Xiaohongshu, posts from women in their 30s and 40s with tags like not getting married, not having children often receive thousands of likes. A 2021 survey by the Communist Youth League of China found that 44% of about 2,900 urban unmarried women interviewed did not intend to get married. For thousands of years, Chinese culture has favored men over women. In ancient times, the belief that a woman's virtue lies in her lack of talent was prevalent. Men typically hoped that women would play subordinate roles in the family and society. If a woman was educated and talented, she might challenge these traditional roles and authority. Today, some Chinese men still hold very conservative views on marriage, including some highly educated elites.
And the thing about it, right, is because when I don't like how they narrate this when they say, oh, well, if she's smart and educated, she might go against the status quo or whatever. And it's like, because they're not willing to back it up. They're not willing to go against it and then stand on that. That's what the thing that's about it. It's like, we understand if you want change, but if you want change as a man, you have to stick with that. But for women, they have the option to say, let's change. And then when it doesn't please them, they're like, oh, we're going to abandon it. Because again, they're not the ones running everything. And so it's like nobody's afraid or intimidated by older women. It's the fact that they believe that they can come in and just mess up everything that we built just because they want to be the person that sits up and gives orders and everything, but not actually do any of the work that it takes to stabilize what it is that they're asking for.
A 35-year-old Chinese investment banker once said that Chinese men want their wives to be like plain yogurt, which can be flavored as they wish. His own wife, he said, was plain yogurt, not sophisticated and without strong opinions, but he liked her because she's easy to control. Many men can only accept women younger than themselves and cannot accept older women. Why is this? Chinese musician, writer, and host Gao Xiaosong once made controversial remarks that represent the thoughts of many marriageable men.
When she was with me, she was still young, not even in society yet, so her basic worldview was shaped by me. In contrast, finding an older wife who has been shaped by her social circle and then trying to change her would be much more tiring and likely to lead to more conflicts. My wife's views on the world, even the music she listens to, and the movies she watches, are influenced by me, so we share many similar thoughts. I think this makes us happy.
Exactly. It makes her more suitable for leadership as far as following his leadership. Because again, it's the same thing that we said earlier. When we have our opinions based off the world, it's usually based off of our experiences and where we're trying to go. But when a woman has those thoughts, it's because somebody else said it and it made sense. So if her group of friends said that this thing should happen, she's going to agree with that because it's her group of friends. But it has no experience backed by it. Or she's getting that from some old guy that she was smashing back in the day. And she's like, oh, I believe this is how every man should do this. But it's like, that's not how things work. Because again, when you enter a relationship with somebody, somebody's leading. I know a lot of people like to believe that, oh, it's going to be like a 50-50 partnership. It's not going to be a 50-50 partnership. Somebody is leading. And the way that I like to say that is if there's ever an emergency situation, who is in control? You understand what I'm saying? Because if you have the option to go left in an emergency situation and they have the option to go right in an emergency situation, who's following who? That's going to be the person in control, because there is no talking about it in a partnership in an emergency situation. It's we got to make decisions quickly or it's going to hurt everybody.
This shows that in romantic relationships, men's desire for admiration and dependence is much higher than that of women. Another major reason is that the poor economic situation has had a direct impact on the marriage rate. In 2024, China's economy continues to be sluggish, affected by the downturn in the real estate industry, local debt issues, and a wave of corporate layoffs leading to rising unemployment. Many young people have a pessimistic view of the future and marriage. As urban women's economic independence and education levels reach new heights, marriage is no longer a necessity from an economic perspective. Men say they cannot afford the cost of marriage, so more and more young men choose to lie flat and embrace non-marriage, prioritizing living happily. The number of marriages in China has halved in less than 10 years. Reports indicate that in the first quarter of 2024, the number of marriage registrations fell by 178,000 compared to the same period last year, with the annual number of marriage registrations expected to continue to decline. Since peaking in 2013, the number of marriage registrations in China has declined for 9 consecutive years. Some analysts believe that the number of single people will increase significantly in the future, and the trends of late marriage and declining birth rates are likely to pose serious threats to China's population goals.
I think that's going to be it. But again, just imagine how this is going. It's like when a man is going up and he realizes he gets to the peak of his career or the money that he makes, he wants to start a family, and his wife doesn't have to be somebody on equal playing field, right? He could, as long as she has the qualities of a good mother or a good wife, he's like, okay, let's go, let's hit it. That doesn't happen with women. When women reach to this point, that means their dating options are going to get smaller because they want somebody that is their equal. That's not even, and again, when we're talking about family and all these other things, you're looking for a partner. You're not looking for somebody to build a family with, because if you're looking for somebody to build a family with, there are roles, there are positions in a family. And if you're the type of person that you just want your equal, right, you have 2 CEOs, and 2 CEOs can't run a company. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody has to fulfill this role. And I think the more that women are getting more educated and the more money that they're making, it's just going to be a lot of people who are essentially smashing, because let's be real, people are having sex, right? They're not just because they're not getting married doesn't mean they're not being intimate. And that statistic over time is going to lead to more single household families, and those single household families are just going to be uh, employing the workforce at the lowest level, and so listen, that's all I have to say about that. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.